श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः। गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णुः गुरुः साक्षात् महेश्वरः गुरुरेव जगत्सर्वं तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। गुरवे सर्वलोकानां विशेषे परोगणां निधे सर्वविद्यानां श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। वक्रतुण्डमहाकाय सूर्यकोटिसमप्रभः निर्विघ्नं कुरु मे देव सर्वकार्ये सर्वदा। गजाननं भूतगणातिसेवितं गपत्तजम्बुफलसारभक्षितं उमासुतं योगविनाशकारणं नमामि विघ्नेश्वरपादपङ्कजं। शुक्लाम्बरधरं विष्णुं शशिवर्णं चतुर्भुजं प्रसन्नवदनं ध्यायेत् सर्वविघ्नोपशान्तये। व्यासं वष्टनुक्तारं शक्ते पौत्रमकल्मषं वराशरात्मं वन्दे जुगदातं तपोनिधिं। व्यासाय विष्णुरूपाय व्यासरूपाय विष्णवे नमो वै ब्रह्मणदे वासिष्ठाय नमो नमः। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्. So we start Virata Parva today. Virata Parva is about Pandavas spending their 13th year because it is the year where they are spending as unrecognizable in unrecognized state, so people do not recognize them. It's a straightforward 13th year story. You don't have other rishis coming or other storytelling and things like that. There is very little of that because people are not recognizing them, right? So it moves, the story moves very fast in Virata Parva, mainly focused on what Pandavas did in that one year, and we don't have much of other stories in there. So we'll look at that. So Pandavas, as we looked last time, they, after being blessed by Dharma in the form of Yaksha who came and tested Yudhishthira, they were ready to, they completed their completing 12th year and they were ready to start their 13th year. So Janamejaya, listening to this, asks, how did my great grandfathers spend their time in Virata? How did Draupadi spend her time there unrecognized? And tell me all this in detail. And Vaishambhana starts narrating this in more in detail. He says that after obtaining the boon from Dharma, Yudhishthira returned to his ashrama with his brothers and then gave the Brahmanas the sacrificial sticks which was taken away by the deer. He returns that, and then he calls his brothers, and then all of them sit together and then says, we have completed 12 years, now the 13th year is about to come, and we have to pass those days unrecognized from our enemies. And Arjuna says that by the blessing of Dharma, we should be able to spend the 13th year unrecognized. But I will mention you some places where we could go. Like these places are very either a little bit remote or they are friendly to Pandavas. So he says that we could go to Panchala, we could go to Chedi, Matsya, Surasena, Puttachara, Darshana, Navarastra, Malla, Shalva, Yugandhara, Saurashtra, Avanti, Kunti Rashtra, all these places we could go. Where do you want, where do you think we should spend our time? And Yudhishthira says that it is, as I said, we could go to any of those places where the kings are favorable to Pandavas and us, and they Duryodhana and his team may have difficulty in finding us. So if we go to those places, but and then he says that we go to aged Virata, uh, king of Matsya. We go into and spend his time, our time there. We will enter the in his kingdom. We will enter into service. We'll do the work for him, and then there we will spend our 13th year. And Arjuna asks what service you will do to in Virata's kingdom. What will you do? What work you will do? And you are virtuous, charitable, very mild, modest, firm in your promise. If doing some work for somebody else is going to be difficult for you, what are you going to do? And Yudhishthira says, I will appear before King Virata, presenting myself as a Brahmana named Kanka. So I will be called Kanka. I will go there and I will say that I'm very skilled in playing dice game. and I'm very fond of playing this, and I will be your courtier. Like courtier is somebody who you spend time with when you're getting bored, right? So you will go and spend time with. I'll be that. I'll moving those chess boards and playing in that dice game. I will entertain you. So I will say that to king, and I will succeed in getting that job. And I will also say that previously I used to play with Yudhishthira, and I spent a lot of time with Yudhishthira, and I will say that. So Yudhishthira picks playing chess as playing dice game, right? And we know that he lost dice game previously. What confidence does he have? How he is confident that he is going to be a good dice gamer now? What has changed? Anyone remember what happened since that dice game in Hastinapura and now? Now he is saying he's very good in playing dice. What has changed? Anyone remembers? I should have exam every time. If you remember, after telling the Nala Damayanti story in Vanaparva, Rishi Brihadashva, because Nala learnt this dice game trick from Rituparna, and Rituparna was counting the leaves and all the stories, right? So, and he also, Nala learnt the dice game, uh, science of dice game from Rituparna. And similarly, Rishi Brihadashva at that time, after telling Nala Damayanti story, he gave that science and that knowledge to Yudhishthira. And that's why Yudhishthira became expert in playing dice now. And he wasn't worried. After 12 years, 13 years spending it, if Shakuni asked for one more game, he wasn't worried now, right? So similarly, with that confidence, he tells here he says that I will go to Virata and say that I am a very expert in playing dice. And then Bhima says that I will go to Virata's kingdom and I will become a cook and I will be called by the name Vallabha. And I will say that I'm very skilled in cooking because Bhima loves eating and he knows all the tastes and how to cook and everything he knows. And he says that I'm very good in that. I will make king very happy with my culinary skills and I will cook all the royal fish, whatever they want to eat, and I will cook all those things, food and drinks, I will prepare them. And also, I will face up to the mighty elephants, powerful elephants and bulls and things like that. I will fight with them. And also, if king asks me to fight with any of his men, I will do like arm wrestling and things like that. I will do those things for fun to keep king entertained, but I will not kill any of those people who come for a fight with me because he again want to make sure that nobody recognizes him to be Bhima. If he kills somebody very strong and things, people might recognize that, oh, how did that person got killed? So I will fight with them and I will entertain like that. Then Yudhishthira says that what office, what service, what duty, what work this Arjuna is going to do because uh, he satisfied, he pleased Agni himself previously in the Kandava uh, when Agni came in the form of Brahmana. He defeated in a single car, in a single chariot, he defeated Nagas, Rakshasas, everybody, and then he married Vasuki's sister himself, and he also uh, among all the two-footed animals, creatures, Brahmanas are sacred. Even sun is sacred among all the heat-giving bodies. Similarly, the cobra is sacred among all the foremost or superior among all the serpents. Fire is sacred among all the energy, and Indra's Vajra is sacred among all the weapons. And humped bull is sacred among all the bow and braid and things like that. Like that, Arjuna is sacred foremost among all the bowmen. And what service, what duty he could assume, because everybody will recognize by releasing those arrows, his arms, everything is very much uh, kind of if you work too hard, your skin becomes very hard, right? So it has become like that. His fingers are with by pulling those arrows and bowstring, it has become very thick, and anybody can recognize him. And he is, after coming from heaven, going to Indra's place and coming back, he is shining like a devata, and he has that in his face. He has that, and anybody could recognize what. So how he is going to hide? And Arjuna says that I will declare myself as a neutral sex, and I will uh, cover my arms, everything with bangles, so that nobody recognizes my scars from these uh, or the hard skins I have from the bowstring and arrows. I will call myself Brahmanala, and I will go in the female the inner apartments where the females are there, and there I will go and entertain them with delightful dancing, musical instruments, and things like that. I will do it, and I will say that previously I used to serve Draupadi in Yudhishthira's palace. So, like this, I will spend my time as um, a woman of third sex. So, again, anyone remembers how could Arjuna of such a splendor, how such an energy become a
He got
third?
cursed in heaven by one of the apsaras.
Do you remember the name?
No.
Urvashi. So very good. So Urvashi cursed him previously, right? And he also learned all this musical instrument, dancing, everything from Chitra Gandharvas, right? So he has all those skills, and this 1 year that was cursed, he is going to use that. He Urvashi said that he will have that um, third sex. He will not be man or a woman. He will be that kind of person for 1 year, right? So that 1 year, he said he's going to use that now. And then Nakula Sahadeva was inquired by Yudhishthira what they do, and Nakula says that I will be called by the name of Grantika, and I will look after the horses. I'm very skilled in horses, and I train even the uh, the horses which are not good breed. I will make them good, and I know how to make them, and I'm very good at reading the horses, their characters by just by looking at them. I will do become go to Virata and say that I used to serve in Yudhishthira's, look after the horses in Yudhishthira's kingdom. And then Sahadeva says that I will look after the cows. So I used to do that again when in Khandava. I have experience of looking after the cows and going to cows and understanding and learning everything. By just by looking at the auspicious marks on those cows, I can tell whether they are good breed, how much milk they give, and all the signs I can tell. And similarly, bulls also, just by looking at them, I can tell. So I'm very skilled in that. I will go and by the name of Tantripala. And Yudhishthira says that all of us sorted. Now, what are we going to do with Draupadi, who is a princess and spent 12 years with us in this forest? Now, what she is going to do? She is by birth, she is born from a fire, and she enjoyed all these perfumes, garlands, and all the ornaments and everything. Now, how she is going to be in service of somebody else? And Draupadi says that there is a class of people who called Sairandris, and I will go by the name of Sairandri, one of that Sairandri. And normally, any respectable woman will not do that job, and that job of the Sairandri job, that is, which is actually dressing the hair. Okay, so again, so dressing the hair cutting, all these jobs are not considered respectable ones. Okay, so it says that she says, I will go by the name of Sairandri, and I will say that previously I used to do the same job for Draupadi, and I will serve Queen Sudeshna. Okay, Virata's wife Sudeshna. I will serve her, and by that I will do it. And then Yudhishthira, you are born in a respectable family, and you are very chaste. You are looking after, and so, but your conduct, you need to be very careful because you're very beautiful. Evil eyes might look at you, and this may start desiring you. So you need to be very careful. And so Yudhishthira warns Draupadi. Having said that, Yudhishthira, all of them agree what they need to do, and then he says that tell uh, let all our cooks, charioteers, everybody, let them go to Drupada's kingdom, Panchala, and let them take the Agnihotra fire. So again, Pandavas used to do Agnihotra every day, fire sacrifice, because now they are going in different forms, different other duties. He says that that Agni should not be uh, disappear, right? So you should maintain that fire. So he says that take that to Drupada's kingdom and then let them maintain. Drupada's son, Drishtadyumna, they let them maintain. And similarly, Indrasena and other servants who were there, let them go to Dwaraka and spend their time there. And all the maids and servants who were there with Draupadi, let them go to Panchala and like that. So we, with that, we will leave Dvaitavana. And having said that, he invites all the Brahmanas and everybody, and he seeks Dhaumya's advice what we should do and we should not do. And Dhaumya says that the arrangement you made for all these people is great. Brahmanas, friends, your chariots, weapons, everything, sacred fire, your Agni, everything is great. And also, you have to make sure that Draupadi is safe. Draupadi is protected in this 13th year. So, because she is coming with you, you need to be very careful and protect her. And then Dhaumya starts narrating what one should look for and how one should behave when one is serving a king. He says that even to live with king, it is very difficult. He says, and it is very difficult because you have to control your anger and everything. The king is like a devata himself, great fire himself. So we should be respecting him and we should be worshipping and respecting him. So in front of king, one should present before the king after obtaining the permission at the gate. So you should not just walk, even if you are a friend of king, you should not just walk in. You have to take permission and then go. So again, no one should keep contact with royal secrets. If there is something secret with king's secret, you should not try to find out what it is. You should not desire a seat which another person may be wishing for. You should not do something favorable. Even if you're very favorite of the king, you should not go in the same chariot of king. So you should come in another one behind him. And he says that he should not sit when the king is doing something, or he should not engage with the people who are against the king. Similarly, if king is not asked for a counsel or your views, you should not speak. So you should not speak and say that you should do something like this. Okay, only if king asks, then only you should do it. You should always pay homage to the king, and you should silently and respectfully sit beside king, and it should not blabber. So you should not just keep on talking in front of the king. So Dome again continues that a wise person is the one who should not contact friends of the king's wife or the other internal apartments ladies, uh, and also any people who king may see he may be disappointed or he may be angry. So one should also do it even if it is unimportant things, one should do it, and with king's knowledge, one should do it. So by behaving like that, one will not be harmed by the king. Even if one uh, attains the highest office, he should always look for what king wants and what king expects from him, and should always try to uh, should never try to forgive the people who do try to do the harm to the king. And king also should be served with regard, full, carefully, and he should be very loyal to the king. And if one is disloyal, king definitely will destroy. So Dharma says that you should renounce your anger, pride, negligence, all these things you should give up, and you should always be focused on the king and carefully deliberate on all the things, and then only you should do those things, whatever you want to do. So he says, he gives all this always, he says that always thinking that I am not liked by the king, you should work. Because if you think, the moment you think that I'm king likes me, okay, you will become negligent and you won't be focused. So he says that always think that I'm not liked by the king and then try to do best job. So then king will be pleased with you. So he says again, you should not sit uh, either on the right side or on the left. Or sorry, you should should sit either on the left side or on the right side, but should not sit behind and should not be coming sitting in front of the king. Again, in front of this king, somebody sitting, that means they are getting punishment or something like that. So on the behind, again, you are not trusted person. Okay, so you should be sitting on the right or the left. So he says that we should not reveal anything that's king's secret. So even if king has told something false and you know that king has lied, you should not tell anybody that king has lied about something. And you should not think that I am brave, I am intelligent, I know more than this king. Okay, so this, when we say all these things here, okay, so Dhaumya's lessons, these are all talking about king. Okay, in the modern day, if you think about this, these are all applies when you go and work in office. It thinks about, think about your manager and your bosses. Okay, if you go and think that your boss is, you are more intelligent than your boss, then you are going to have some trouble at some point. So this is, though it says in the Mahabharata it is about king, same most of these things applies in the today's management science. Okay, and behavior management, human resource science, it applies all these things. So again, obtaining what is agreeable to king, obtain that wealth from the king, and again, do not even covet whatever that's not yours. So you should not move your lips, arms, thighs before kings, are just like shaking your legs while sitting and things like that, or blabbering and those kind of things should not do. And you should not speak or spit before the you should speak very mildly before the king. You should not laugh loudly. You should not laugh like a mad person. You should not show very much control yourself and should be smile modestly. When king smiles or makes a joke, smile modestly. Okay, even if you don't like the joke, smile a little bit, because king has to be happy, because you have to show that you understood the joke and you have to make him happy. So he says that by doing all these things, one becomes interested by the king, and you have to always say that I will do this. Whatever king says, I will do this. So if king thinks that uh, if you are given a task, you should be doing that without any fear or anything. You should be doing that, and always remember that the the one who is very dear to king always benefits from that. So again, you should never dress like a king or never laugh in king's presence and all these kind of things. He repeats again. So Dhaumya gives all this advice, and then Yudhishthira uh, says that I've been very well taught by you all these, how to behave in front of kings, because so far Yudhishthira was a king. Now he has to learn how to be with a king and serve a king, right? So he's learning all these things, and he says that except my mother Kunti and Vidura, nobody else could have told me all this great wisdom. And the Yudhishthira worships Dhaumya at that time and the other Brahmanas. And after that, Dhaumya and Brahmanas uh, do chant all the mantras and things like that, which auspicious things for the welfare of Pandavas. And all of them depart. Uh, so Dhaumya and others, they go to Panchala. Panchala, Indrasena and others, they go to Dwaraka. So Pandavas then start take their horses and chariots. They start their life. They start their journey towards Virata. So like that, they cross Yamuna and then they go to pass further distance. They come to Ekriloma, Surasena. They cross on the right side. They see the Panchala kingdom and then Dasharnas, and then they enter the Matsya kingdom. And then seeing there, uh, they come to there, and Draupadi says that we see the footpaths here. That means a lot of people walked in this path, right? So when you near the town and villages, you see the footpath. That means very well walked place. That means there are a lot of people here approaching a town or a city. So we see the footpath. it starting to appear. So that means city must be for a little bit distance away. I'm very tired. And then Yudhishthira asks Arjuna to carry Draupadi, and they carry her. And then after some time, they go and then uh, these they go near a cemetery, smashana. They go near a smashana where funeral cremation used to take place, cremation place. They go there, and there they see a shami tree, and large, huge shami tree. And Arjuna says that we will put all our weapons on this shami tree, because first of all, this is a cremation ground. Nobody will come here regularly, walk past this, and people will be scared to do anything, uh, climbing up the tree and all these funny things, little things they will not be doing here. So it will be safe here. So they go there, and then after that, they start removing the bowstring from their bows, detach it, and then they untie it. And then first Arjuna does his Gandiva, and then Yudhishthira, then Bhima, Nakula, Sahadeva, all of them do untie their bowstring, and then they put their arrows, swords, all the sharp weapons if they had. They put all that in a tie one to another, and then they put that, climb up the trees, and then they put that on top of the tree. And they take a body, half burnt body from there, and they put that on the tree, and they tell some people around there, saying that this is our aged mother, uh, 180 years she died, and her dead body, as per our custom, we are keeping in this tree, so nobody should touch or climb for 1 year. And they tell some of the cowards nearby, so that those people will go and tell everybody that there is a dead body, nobody should touch it, is inauspicious, and things like that. They make that rumor. Okay, so, and because they did not want others to recognize them in that 1 year, they themselves in outside world, they used to be known as Kanka, Vallabha, uh, um, Brahmanala, and like that. But internally, they called themselves as Jaya, Jayanta, Vijaya, Jayasena, Jayatwala. So like this, these five names they assigned themselves. So if someone says Jayanta, they know that it is Bhima. Okay, so among themselves, they were known by these five names. Then, so there is a chapter here about Yudhishthira worshipping Durga. So what Yudhishthira does is, while he was on his way to Virata, he mentally starts worshipping Durga Devi. He starts praising her and worshipping her, and thinking that for the welfare and make sure that they complete this 13th year. So he worships with many shlokas. He says that Namostute Varade Krishna Kumari Brahmacharini Balarka Sadrisha Kare Purna Chandra Nibhanane Chaturbhuje Chaturvakre Peenashroni पयोधरे मयूरपिच्चवलये केयूराङ्गदधारिणि भासी देवी यथा पद्मा नारायण परिग्रह स्वरूपं ब्रह्मचर्यं च विषादं तव केचरे कृष्णश्च विषमा कृष्णा सङ्कर्षणसमानना बिभ्रति विपुलौ बाहो शक्राध्वज समुच्चयौ पात्रे च पङ्कजे घण्टे स्त्रीविशुद्धा च या भुवि पाशं धनुर्महाचक्रं विविधानि आयुधानि च कुण्डलाभ्यां सुप सुपूर्णाभ्यां कर्णाभ्यां च विभूषिता चन्द्रावि चन्द्राविस्पर्धिनेन देवी मुखेन त्वं विराजसे मुकुटेन विचित्रेण केशबन्धेन शोभिना भुज भुजाङ्गभोगवासेन श्रोणि सूत्रेण राजत विधाराजासे च भद्देन भोगेन वेहे मन्दारः ध्वजेन शकी पिच्चानाम् ऊर्चितेन विराजसे कुमारं कुमारं व्रताम् आस्त्य त्रिदिवां पवितां तव्य तेन त्वं स्तुतये देवी त्रिदशा पूज्यसेऽपि च त्रैलोक्यरक्षसान् रक्षणा त्रैलोक्यरक्षणार्धार महिषासुरविनाशिने प्रसन्ना मे सुराश्रेष्ठे दयां कुरु शिवा भव जया त्वं विजया चैव सङ्ग्रामे च जयप्रदा ममापि विजयं देहि वरदा त्वं च समर्पदम् विन्ध्ये चैव नागश्रेष्ठे तव तव स्थानं हि शाश्वतं काली काली महाकाली सिद्धुमांस पशुप्रिये कृतान् कृतानुयत्र भूतैः स त्वं वरदा कामचारिणि भवा भरतवर्तेये च त्वां संसारयष्यन्ति मानवः प्रणम प्रणमन्ते च ये त्वां हि प्रभाते नरभुवि न तेषां दुर्बलां किञ्चित् पुत्रतो धनतो वैभव दुर्गातरा तारास्यसे दुर्गे तत्त्वं दुर्गा स्मृता जनैः. So like this he worships. So Sandhya Ratri Tvam Krita Stri Dhriti Stri Siddhir Rehir Vidya Samar Santarai Matihi Sandhya Ratri Prabha Nidra Josna Kanti Kshamadhaya. Like this he worships Durga. So after praying, doing this prayer to Durga, Durga becomes pleased with him, and she uh, she comes in front of Yudhishthira, and she blesses that you will regain your, you will complete your 13th year successfully, and after that, in you will defeat your enemies and you will regain the entire earth in your control, and you will also your brothers, with your brothers you will obtain happiness, and my grace help joy, through my grace you will have joy, health, everything will be yours. And the Palashruti of this shloka says that anyone who recites these, whatever you the shlokas you said, they will be freed from sins and they will be gratified. I will give them the kingdom, long life, beauty, person, and children. I will give all that, just like what you have done. If anyone is in exile or in the city or in the battle or in the danger from the enemies or in the forest or in inaccessible deserts or mountains or anywhere like that, if they do chant these things, I will protect them, and they will achieve success and everything whatever they want to do. So like this, Durga blesses them, and after blessing them, and she says that you go and reside in Virata city without anyone recognizing you. And then after saying that, Durga disappears. So Yudhishthira after that, from there, they continue their journey. So, and then, so Yudhishthira, after uh, tying up his, preparing, already they put all the weapons and everything else already on the Shami tree. So just before I go to the next thing, so this Durga worship, uh, chapter in Mahabharata, there is a lot of different versions of this, and it is said that it is something that later on added. It is not in the original Mahabharata, and that's what there is later on multiple different versions of it, and it kind of makes sense because if you look at the previous lines, they were preparing for all the weapons, hiding all the weapons in the cremation ground, and then they were about to go to Virata, and then suddenly this Durga worship comes in without any rishis or brahmanas coming there and telling Yudhishthira to do some sort of Durga worship for the protection and things like that. Suddenly Yudhishthira thinks on his own, because everywhere you look, any worship that happened, whether it is beginning of Vanaparva when he worshipped Surya for the Akshay Patra, or Arjuna worshipping Shiva or anything like that, there is always a Brahmana or Rishi or somebody coming and telling that do this. Okay, so this one, it just starts saying that Yudhishthira while walking to Virata suddenly started praying Durga. So this sounds like, even though the prayer is there, Durga's prayer is there, which is auspicious, and worshipping Durga is auspicious, everything is good. This episode here, this chapter here, looks like a later addition inserted, and similarly, we see one more time in Mahabharata later where Durga worship is comes, and that also is kind of looks like a later addition. So here, Yudhishthira tying his dice, he goes to Virata. there, when he goes there and he asks for permission to enter, and Virata looking at him, uh, they, he doesn't. Yudhishthira says that I'm a Brahmana, I want to see the king, and Yudhishthira Virata looks at him and says that this one does not look like a Brahmana. He looks like a uh, king himself. He has such a shines. He's shining like Indra himself. Bring him here. And then Yudhishthira goes there and explains that I'm a Brahmana. I have come here to for just for my own survival and feeding. I've come here. I'm very good in dice. So I want to entertain you with my dice games and things. So the king says that Virata says that that's good. Tell me who you are and your name and things. And he says that I am Kanka. I'm a Brahmana from Vayagra race. So I'm family Vayagra family. I used to previously be with Yudhishthira doing dice, and Virata becomes very pleased. He says that I will grant you whatever you want. You can stay in Matsya, and even cunning gamblers who play dice games are liked by me. You seems to be a very good one, so why not you stay here and tell me what do you want. Yudhishthira says that when I play dice game and if I win something, nobody should take away that whatever I win, nobody should take away that from me. And king grants that boon. It says that okay, so be it. And then Yudhishthira gets his job there. Then Virata, after getting that job, so Yudhishthira gets his job, and slowly, little while later, and couple of days later, there comes a huge man, uh, looking like an elephant. He comes there, walks there, with a uh, kitchen uh, utensils and everything with him, and walks near him, and he explains that his name is Ballava, and he want to do cooking, and he's very good at cook, and he used to do in Yudhishthira's kingdom, he used to do tasty dishes there, and he want to, and Virata grants him that he can do the cooking, and also he looks very strong and things. So he says that I will appoint you into that place. So you go and you find yourself as the head chef. So Bhima finds his job as well. And then we will see what Arjuna, Nakula, Sahadeva, Draupadi and do and what happens after that next time. Any questions for today?